I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. With us, a returning guest. He is one of the most extraordinary trends forecasters in the world. Jill I've ever talked to, actually. But he has been so right on in his predictions. Of course, they're all documented. It was a monthly, now it's a weekly. Of course, I'm talking about the Trends Journal. The publisher of the Trends Journal is Gerald Celente. Gerald Celente, thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Oh, it's great being on USAWatchdog.com, and thank you for all that you're doing and for having me on.
Well, listen, I had lots to talk about. Let's start with the impeachment debacle. I mean, this thing with the Mueller investigation and the hoax and frame job of the last thing that went on for 3 years. You know, the Russian collusion was supposed to be hacking. With hacking the DNC servers, and then of course that didn't materialize, and they farmed that out to CrowdStrike, and then it turned into Russian collusion. Now this is just, it doesn't seem nearly as well thought out, orchestrated, or anything else. It just seems like a sophomoric attempt at trying to take the president down. What are you saying at the Trends Journal?
Well, that's exactly what it is. They're going to do everything they can to beat Trump in the 2020 race for the White House. And they're going to be using this and to really dig up more dirt on him. So they know that the telephone call he made and talked to the president or the prime minister of Ukraine to have him look into the dirty dealings of Hunter Biden and what really went on and why they got rid of the general prosecutor. You know, what's so bad about that? How could that be a national security issue? I mean, you know, what's the big deal over here? How did Hunter Biden, and again, this is, just to make it clear, old news to Trends Journal readers. This is a Trends Journal, Greg, from...
Upside down.
Well, this is a Trends Journal, Greg, from the fall of 2014, all right? This is what we wrote in talking about the United States overthrow of the democratically elected government of Yanukovych in 2014. But people don't talk about Victoria Nuland when she addressed at the National Press Club in December of 2013, setting the stage for the overthrow. And to put this into context, what happened was Ukraine was and still is in deep financial trouble. They went to the International Monetary Fund to ask for a bailout. Russia came in with a better deal than them. They were going to go with the Russian deal. That's when they overthrew Yanukovych. Now, so this is what we wrote in part. Actually, the Ukraine stage had been set months earlier. For anyone seeking the facts, consider listening to Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland's December 13, 2013 speech at the National Press Club in Washington. Observe the Chevron and Exxon Mobil logos flanking her. How many recall that not long after her speech, Vice President Joseph Biden's boy, Hunter Biden, was appointed to the board of directors of Burisma Holdings Limited? That's Ukraine's largest energy company. Also saddling up on the Burisma board was Devon Archer, a business partner of Christopher Heinz, the Heinz of 57 varieties, who is coincidentally the stepson of U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. We have to ask ourselves, how low have our moral standards sunk? When did it become routine, expected, and business as usual that we're all led down such destructive roads with so little accountability and no regard for the history that's so obviously and indisputably repeating itself? 2014.
Wow, corruption.
We knew, and it was forgotten. No one wrote about it. No one talked about it. So now Biden, in that, everybody saw that video. He said, oh, yeah, well, he said, we'll give you that $1 billion if you get rid of this general prosecutor. So I said to them, I got to leave in 6 hours. You better make a decision by then. You got it? They made the decision by then. It was forgotten. This is a national security issue. This is impeachment.
You know why he was there in front of the Council on Foreign Relations? You know what he was doing? And what I figured out what he was doing? He was showing the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, hey, I'm your thug. I'm your crook. I'm your crook.
Well, they're the White Shoe Boy Mafia.
Yeah.
That's a gang. And by the way, that's why they're going after Trump. Trump's not a member of the club. Like him, hate him. He didn't go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, bullets, bombs, and banks. They wouldn't let him in. Why'd he buy Mar-a-Lago? They wouldn't let him in the other club. He's an outsider and they want him out. That's why they had the whole Russiagate thing. They knew it was BS. They know it's lies. All they want to do is get him out and keep the White Shoe Boy Club members running the gang.
They know this seems very, very shakily put together.
Well, the thing is, it is shakingly put together because it's going to bring down Biden as well. And what I believe they're going to be doing is they're setting the stage now for my seventh grade English teacher. That's what she reminds me of, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. She's not going to pull well to the middle and to the right. She's not going to pull well.
Exactly. So that's who they're putting up there, I believe. Because there's nobody else.
Wait. So you think this whole deal does end Biden?
Oh, yeah, it's going to do in Biden, too. Look, Biden's a loser. He's already down in the polls against Warren. So it'd be either Warren or Kamala Harris or somebody else. But they know Biden can't win. People aren't going to go out of their way to vote for sleepy Joe Biden. So that's why they're getting rid of Trump. And they're going to go after Trump. They're going to get rid of Biden, and they're going to keep hitting Trump up until Election Day. That's what this thing is about. It's a waste of time, a waste of money. Look, the majority of Americans don't want the impeachment process. That's by major polls. People don't want this. They know it's BS.
Do you think they'll be successful in knocking him out?
I don't know. Because this cat got a lot of dirt on him, too. I mean, you know, he's done a lot of dirty deals in the business world, considering what you hear. So, you know, he doesn't have such a clean track record.
Donald Trump, you're saying?
Yeah. So, you know, they may, that's what I'm saying. They're using this so now they could look into everything. They're using this so they could look into everything. Now, this is important. You know that I'm forecasting the Greatest Depression.
Yep.
The equity markets now this year are up about 18%. They took a hit today when manufacturing index came out, and it's way below 50. Anything below 50 is contraction, above is growth. What's going to happen as this impeachment process intensifies, go back to what happened when Slick Willie Clinton got impeached. You saw the Dow go down almost 20% into correction territory. Now, that's different back than in 1998 because we still had growth going up. This market goes down, it's going to go down real hard because it's already being artificially propped up with monetary methadone that morons and imbeciles call quantitative easing and negative and zero interest rate policy and negative yields on bonds. So now when this thing goes down from the pressure of impeachment, there's nothing to hold it back up. Because then when the impeachment process started with Clinton, the markets went back up, and they closed higher. It won't happen this time because we have a global slowdown. You have pressure all over the world. I mentioned the United States manufacturing index. How about the one that just came out in Europe today or yesterday? Down again. Germany going into a recession has nothing to do with trade wars. It has to do with the Chinese people not having the money to buy their stuff. Trade wars, hey, how about India? Hey, those car sales last month were terrific, only down 41%. There's no trade war. The economies have been artificially propped up. The monetary methadone drug is wearing off. The addicted bull is ready to go under.
What about the overnight funding? I know you people. I know you do a lot of political stuff, and you're fantastic in it. But you also do a lot of financial stuff, which you just talked about. What about this overnight funding problem that's been going on for almost 2 weeks now? Where they've the overnight, the repos, the repurchase agreements, the banks getting funding every night. That's keeps going. What is your take on this?
It's serious, and they're trying to downplay it. What they keep doing, whether it's the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Financial Times, they keep blaming the new head of the New York Federal Reserve and him firing a couple of people that were there for decades, putting in somebody that didn't know how to deal with this, and that's what they're blaming it on. That's not the issue. They need more money. The debt bubble that has been built following the panic of '08, according to the official numbers, and they had the same official number now for going on 2 years, $250 trillion worth of global debt. It's more like 300 trillion. Not 250 trillion.
So they're hiding the amount of debt that's out there. They're not.
You got it. You could Google it up. They'll give you the same number now for 2 years. Look at all these mergers and acquisitions. Every day you pick it up. 5.6 billion, 8.7 billion, 22.3 billion. Where are you getting the money? Oh, we're borrowing it. We're borrowing it because it's cheap money. It's negative zero interest rate policy. You know, Greg Hunter, I really like you. I've been on your show a lot of years. I love what you do. I got this 30-year bond for you to buy. Only 20% of them in the world are going in negative territory. You get negative yields. I like you so much that when you return that bond and when you cash it in 30 years, I'm going to give you less than what you paid for it. So sign right here and give me your money. And you tell me, hey, Celente, what do you think, I'm stupid? Now you got $17 trillion of negative bond yields in the marketplace now. The whole thing is ready to come down. So when you go back to the impeachment, we look at a globalnomic process, putting all pieces together. You have to look at what it's going to do in this climate that we're in. So now when this impeachment process starts hitting and hitting and hitting, the markets already under pressure are going to collapse globally.
So when President Trump says, listen, if they impeach me, the markets are going to tank, he's got good reason to say that. You're saying backed up.
Go back to Clinton. Don't believe Trump. Look at the numbers. That's all I look at. Go back to Clinton.
Historical precedent.
Yes.
And that was a pretty good economy back
Historical precedent and hysterical president. Yeah. Anyway.
That was a pretty good economy back in Clinton's
Exactly.
era. I mean,
exactly. The whole .com bubble.
And it still tanked.
Yeah. It didn't tank till 2000.
Yeah. I mean, no, I bet it tanked when the impeachment process started.
Oh, yeah. Went down into correction territory nearly 19.6%, I believe.
Oh, boy. And that was with a good economy. And now we have, that wasn't propped up back then.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's going to be worse this time. It'll cause all the global equity markets to go down because the United States is still the only semblance of a strong economy. And it's weakening, as you're seeing with the manufacturing numbers coming out, when you're looking at consumer confidence. And when you look at look, 6 months ago, no one was talking about recession, virtually. A couple of us, the people you have on. But now you're hearing from the very richest, over 50% of them are taking measures to secure their financial assets in fear of a global recession. The wealthiest are doing it. And that's what we're doing with our subscribers. We're telling them, you better prepare to prevail and prosper. You don't wait until you get the official word. You do it now. How's your job? You're going to have it? With business, what's going to happen to it? Your house, your family, on and on. You better start looking at this seriously. Look at the numbers. Hey, interest rates in Australia, interest rates in New Zealand, record lows. Over 30 nations this year have lowered interest rates. Mexico just lowered them last week. again.
So you're thinking that these rich people, and that there's been a lot of people as of late, big money managers, Dalio and what's his name, the Templeton Mobius, the CIO of BlackRock. They're all telling people to buy gold. I actually had Nick Barisheff on. He says, well, they're not really buying gold. They're buying GLD. They're buying paper contracts. I said, no, you're kidding. He says, no, they're not buying. I said, wow. He says, are they going to get a pie in the face? He goes, yeah, when they realize that they need to use that gold, when they need to have that investment, they're going to find out it's not there. I said, really? He goes, yeah, people should be buying physical gold. What say you about gold? You said that when it would have to get past 1450, I think was your number. Okay, then tell me about what your prognosis is for precious metals, golds, things like that.
Well, on June 6th, we sent out a trend alert to our subscribers, and the headline was The Gold Bull Run. Gold was at $1,332 an ounce. As we're speaking, it's in about 1,485 in that field. It just came down from 1,532. Reason being, it's going down. The dollar's getting a lot stronger. Very important. The only reason the dollar's getting stronger is because the global economies, they're all getting weaker. Going back to gold. We wrote that trend forecast because gold had solidified over 1325. And then I've been saying for now almost 5 years more that gold had to break over 1450. Once it broke over that and solidly broke over that, it's going to head toward 2000. It solidly broke over that. The downside risk of gold, as I see it, because you can never predict. I mean, things could happen, that brings the price down, is 1390. That to me is the bottom of gold. I see gold from this point moving to, on the other end of the forecast, on a more positive element, I see it moving toward 2000, possibly even before the end of this year.
Ooh, wow. Why do you think these rich people are doing? What are they afraid of? They're afraid of inflation? Are they afraid of deflation? What are you forecasting for what's coming down the pipe? I mean, the bonds, the debts, like to your point, it's been frozen at 250 trillion, and you're saying it's more like 300 trillion. We're never paying this debt off. Aren't we at some point, and maybe I'll get your forecast for this, aren't we going to get a big debt default? I mean, we're not paying it back. Isn't that
well? It's global. It's the Chinese have a $40 trillion debt bubble that they built up. It was about 900 billion in 1996. Now it's over 40 trillion. They have a debt to GDP ratio of over 300. A normal one, like the United States, has one under probably about 86 to GDP, and they have over 300. So no, they're not going to be able to pay it back. That's why gold prices are going up, and that's why the very rich are buying into it. They know what's going on, and that's why you're seeing people buying negative bond yields. They want to put their money in a safe place, even though they're not getting a return on it. They don't want to lose it. Look, the interest rate in Switzerland is minus 0.75. You can't make this stuff up. You want to buy a house in Denmark? We'll give you a mortgage with a negative rate. They're doing everything they can to prop up the economy. This is unheard of. They don't teach you this in Economics 101 at graduate school. They're making this stuff up. They don't know what to do. Now, here, Greg, this is important. They know the monetary policy is running out of juice. And now they're all promoting more fiscal policy, which means governments going deeper into debt to spend more money to boost up the failing economy, rather than letting the economic fundamentals take their own route. Because all they're interested in doing is keeping the bigs growing. And that's very important as well, because this is going to be worse than the Great Recession. As I said, this is going to be the greatest depression, worse than the Great Depression. When the greatest recession happened, it was from the bottom up. The bottom collapsed. You want to buy a house? Don't have a job? Don't need one. Sign over here. We got a subprime mortgage for you. You can't afford a car? Got no dough? Don't worry about it. Sign over here. It was a bottom-up collapse. This collapse is coming from the top down. It's that 1% that has it all. And when it starts falling apart and they can't prop it up anymore, that's the crash. That's when it's going to be big. And going back to the Great Depression, as I talked about with the Great Recession, they weren't doing anything to prop it up before it happened. Now, with the Greatest Depression, they're going to go through fiscal stimulus, they're going to go through monetary stimulus, and then when the real slowdown starts happening and it starts collapsing, they have nothing to stimulate it anymore.
And the debt, I mean, I hope you do something on this at some time. I mean, I think they're just going to default on it, are they not? Isn't that where we're heading? I mean, or print money to turn it into confetti. I don't know.
They'll just keep printing money. They'll do what Argentina does. They'll do what Brazil does. They'll do what Venezuela does. They'll do what Turkey does. They do what they all do. That's why gold prices are going up. Because the smart people know that this is digital money printed on nothing and backed by nothing, and they're just going to keep putting it out like we were talking about the New York Fed. Well, they've dumped in over $200 billion in 2 weeks. And they're going to keep pumping it up until what? They're saying October 10th. And then they'll keep pumping it up after that. Where the hell are you coming up with $200 billion? Where'd you find this? You made it up. Who are you talking to? Oh, we're the Fed. We can make up anything we want. Where did you get the money?
Do you think that Donald Trump will do away with the Fed?
No, he won't. But he's going to pressure them to lower rates. He'll do anything he can, again, to win. And I believe by 2020, I believe rates will be either zero or negative by the election.
Wow.
Look at the numbers that just came out today. You're looking at manufacturing index going way down. You're looking at exports going way down in the manufacturing end. Wait till the numbers come out on Friday about job creation. And you know the job creation, people aren't making any money. Median household incomes below 1999 levels. 70% of the people don't have $400 to handle an emergency.
Do you think this impeachment thing will knock Trump out of the box? I'm going to get your prediction on that. In the past, you've said that we think he gets reelected.
I think he'll get reelected.
Oh.
I don't think he'll get knocked out of the box unless they come out with some different dirt. This won't do it. This issue won't do it. I don't know what they'll come up with, because that's why they're doing this. They're doing this so they could look at everything. That gives them the right to look at everything. So I don't know what they'll come up with. If it stays on this issue, he wins. There's nobody there right now that I see beating him, and he'll win again.
I mean, with the Mueller investigation, they did look at everything. I mean, they looked at everything, and they couldn't come up with anything. I mean, you had subpoena power and grand jury power, and you had a team of angry Democrats headed by a rhino Republican, and they didn't come up with anything. So you're saying that they pushed this issue, even if they crashed the economy, Trump will say, "You see, between the Fed and the Dems, they screwed you, they screwed me, they crashed the economy, and people will reelect him." Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Wow.
Because they're the people. Look. Again, you have the majority of Americans are against the impeachment process. Trump is going to fight to the end. He doesn't give up fighting. And the economy is the major issue. And he keeps going on that they're going to look what the Fed did. Look what the Democrats are doing. They're destroying the economy. Look what the Fed did. Look what the Democrats did. They're destroying the economy. And that's what's going to people here. That's all they're interested. That's the main issue that people are interested in. And they feel a recession and a slowdown in their pocketbook and in their bones. And when I say that's the main issue they're interested in, go back to the last round of Democratic debates. Were there 5 of them? 2 hours each for 2 of them and 3 hours each You know.
Oh, they had that crazy climate change thing, which was 7 hours.
What did they
nutty.
talk about foreign affairs?
Nothing.
19 minutes total. 19 minutes. All right, they're talking about nothing. The people want to have money in their pockets. They want jobs. They want income. So that's what the election is. It's, as they used to say in the Clinton, when he ran for office in 1992, the campaign slogan in the headquarters was, "It's the economy, stupid."
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
You know, Laura Ingraham did a town hall up in Chicago, and you know, Hispanic. They had a Hispanic guy and a black guy, and they both said the same thing. We want jobs.
That's it. That's it.
What are you talking about? We want an economy. You know, these people don't want handouts. I mean, you can make $85,000 a year at General Motors, or you can live on $17,600 a year. What would you like, Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Mr. Smith's going to say, "I want the 85 grand of the profit sharing." So that's a big. Do you see any war on the horizon? The last question: do you see any war on the horizon?
You know, I really don't, and I'll tell you why. The reason why Trump did not attack Iran, and by the way, talking about, as you were, false media, there's absolutely not one shred of evidence that Iran was responsible for that drone strike. Not one shred of evidence. And it just came out with a report from Bard College that there are over 30,000 drones, sophisticated ones, in the world, in even countries like Afghanistan. So the Houthis had the power to do this. They're saying they did it. Iran says they didn't, but on the bigger issue, even if they did, the reason why Trump didn't retaliate when the Iranians shot down that, $200 million drone?
Yeah.
Was because the Straits of Hormuz would have been Pearl Harbor. This isn't Libya. It's not Syria. It's not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan. It's not Yemen. It's Iran. These are the Persians. They've been around a long time. Like them, hate them, makes no difference. I only look at the facts. Don't go into that other stuff. They have the sophisticated weaponry to not only wipe out all that battlefield, battle crew that they have in the Straits of Hormuz, the battle fleets. They also could hit all of the United States, not all of them, but about a couple of dozen bases around Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, all in that region with missile power. So that's why I don't think we're going to see a war against Iran, because whoever starts it will start World War III.
Okay, so we're good with that. All right, good. I guess in my closing, a question to you would simply be this whole thing with Nancy Pelosi. I'm going to come back to it again. It almost is like she knows it's poorly thought out. I don't think she wants to do it. She said, well, if we do it and we lose the House, it'll be worth it. What? If you do it and fail, it'll be worth it? So in your close, I know you got a lot of chops with, you run campaigns, you got a lot of political chops. Just your appraisal right now, where you see this going forward right now.
I call them the dumbo-crabs. You know, they're not bright people. You think Nancy Pelosi would be there if Daddy didn't get her there before? You know, born on third base and thought she had a home run, like so many of the others. She doesn't want it, but she's been around a long time, and she knows the political atmosphere. And I think she believes that this isn't the smartest thing to do. And she's getting a lot of pressure to do it. Again, this is going to bring down Biden when more and more dirt comes out about what really happened. I mean, let's take a look at who Hunter Biden is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a, you know, what is he? You know what? They say he made $50,000 a month on the board of directors. You add up the time from now, he made over $3 million. no experience in the field at all, didn't do anything. So it's going to be a dirty deal for the Bidens. And Biden already has a lousy track record in a lot of levels. Matter of fact, probably killed more black people or put more black people in jail than Obama. That ain't going to help him. So he has a lot of negatives there. They're going to get rid of, my belief is, again, is they're doing this to get rid of Biden.
Oh, really?
So they could, yes. So they could concentrate on getting another one of the members of the presidential reality show, the Democratic Party, to push that person forward. And as I said earlier, I think they're going to start with Elizabeth Warren. If she starts failing, then they go to Kamala Harris. She starts going down, I don't know who they're going to go with. As I look at it, Bernie's history.
And this is my last question. Some people are saying that, listen, they're doing this because this FISA report's going to come out with Horowitz, that Barr and Durham, the prosecutors, the attorney general and his top prosecutor, is going to unravel this whole Spygate thing, and people are going to go to jail. Do you think people are going to go to jail over this whole Russia collusion hoax, which involves foreign powers and spies inside the White House and Trump campaign and foreign actors and abusing the 702s of the NSA and getting, this unbelievable unmasking of people, going after Flynn? Do you think this is going to finally have some justice drop down?
No.
Whoa.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think anything will happen. And by the way, a very important article by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, who you've had on your show. Brilliant guy, Reagan's former assistant treasury secretary. He came out and said that this whole thing with the CIA, allegedly, that's who the whistleblower is. This is illegal. That it was. He cites the articles and sections that it's illegal under. I don't think this.
You don't think anybody goes to jail?
I doubt it. Not on this end. No, I don't see it happening.
No.
And if it does go to jail, it'll be a lower person. It'll be something that nobody cares about. It'll be one of the lower level people that nobody cares about. They go to jail, so what?
You don't think Hillary Clinton with the global charity fraud or the Clinton Foundation or Bill or no.
Well, here's my answer to you, Mr. Hunter.
Okay.
Look for the next Jeffrey Epstein episode. All right?
Yeah.
All right? Anybody that comes out and spills the real beans, Jack, you're dead. What imbecile, what moron, what jerk would believe that Jeffrey Epstein hung himself?
Yeah. Twice. He tried twice.
Twice, yeah. 3 strikes, you're out.
Well, they only got 2 strikes, and
he got out.
William Barr had the people who are experts in witness protection, the U.S. Marshal Service. He could have swarmed the prison and said, "You put 50 people there, day and night."
I mean, it's a joke. What I'm trying to tell you is that
so you don't think anybody goes to jail?
It's only going to go so far. If it goes further, look for your next Jeffrey Epstein.
And with that,
they'll kill it. Okay. Wow.
And so you don't think Barr is really an honest player in all this? He's not going to get.
I don't think any of you don't get to those positions. You got to be a member of the club to get in there.
Okay. Okay, well, with that, I have you on. You're one of the top trends forecasters in the world. You've been right a lot. You put it down. Your trends forecast is now weekly. Tell me about your publication and how you get it.
Oh, just go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. We went from a quarterly to a monthly and now a weekly because the events are speeding up so fast and there are so many of them. Very important for all the listeners of USAWatchdog.com. If you're going to waste your time tuning in to the mainstream media to follow the impeachment process, all it's going to do is feed you with information that'll make you dumber. It will not help you prepare for what's coming ahead. Anybody that watches the mainstream news is going to be dumbed down by the junk food news that they throw out. And it'll be junk food people consuming the junk. Tune it out. There's nothing coming from it that's going to help you. If you want to prepare and prevail and prosper ahead, you better widen your search away from the mainstream media, because that's all they're going to concentrate on. Happy days are back for Rachel Maddow.
Oh boy, with that we'll leave it. That was a great assessment of the mainstream media, which has just really turned into propaganda. I'm ashamed to have worked at ABC News and CNN at this point. It wasn't that way when I was there. At least they tried to hide it. Now they don't. Anyway, Gerald Celente, publisher of the Trends Journal, thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com. Great stuff. Super interview. Thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
And thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do to keep people informed and enlightened.